quick introduction, and then we will go over to the guys from Woza Labs. But first, welcome to our Lisk Community Meetup. It will be the last in a row for a while, but we will be back later. And what has been in the news by Lisk? It has not been a lot of posts, but a large blog post you have to read. So if you're interested in the mainnet migration to Lisk Core 3.0 or the latest additions to the Lisk SDK 5.0, just really read the blog post about Lisk mainnet regenesis. It tells you all about all the different additions, and also it gives a good overview of what is a blockchain and what is a state. A good read. Also, if you want to know more about the meetup today, the project, then read the blog post about the Fit project. But also today, just stay and listen to the guys. They will tell you all about it. Read more on the Lisk blog. And today we will have Woza Labs here. But the last thing I wanted to say is that subscribe to the opening of the Lisk Center Berlin. There are only 29 days left, and it will be a digital online. It will be an online event, and really curious to what the Lisk Center will be like and actually what they are going to do over there. But first, let's start with the guys from Woza Labs. Can you tell me who are you and where are you from? Let's start with Sebastian.
Okay, my name is Sebastian Priolo. I'm from Argentina. I'm an engineer, and we are developing Woza Labs, which is the fully unified platform for business transformation.
And welcome.
Hello.
Would I say Fernando, actually?
Yes, Fernando Taracuma. Although I know it doesn't seem like it, but I'm also Argentinian. I've met Sebastian 5 years ago, and we've been working together since then. For the last couple of years in a NAC company, and now we're starting Woza Labs together.
Thanks. Nice. So, actually, you're from Argentina. I just heard that it's 5 hours before us. How did you end up in the Lisk community, actually?
Okay, we were trying to find alternatives to the Food Trust, IBM Food Trust blockchain. We developed a small list. Then the list was bigger. We have a lot of projects there. We started to see, okay, which of these projects has a good support or good community. That's where we found Lisk, and we say, okay, to really understand a project, you need to do a proof of concept. And we started a small proof of concept, and at the same time, we were lucky that we have a client who wants to test some new ideas. So we tell them, okay, we can test your ideas at the same time that we develop a proof of concept with a new technology for us. Do you want to participate? We have they say yes, and there we are here to 3 months after we are here. And I think that we are going to develop a lot of new things with Lisk.
Cool to hear. So how does this work, or how does this fit in the larger picture of Woza Labs?
Yeah, we are working a product. In a product, it's called Follow It. It's we are saying that it's transparency as a service. That product wants to give a smart and a simple way for the companies to be on board of blockchain technology. And at the same time, we are trying to apply some kind of vertical knowledge. So we have a lot of knowledge in the agri-food vertical, So our first module is going to be an agri-food template for that transparency product. We want that product to be supported by a blockchain project, and we are thinking that Lisk is going to be an important part of that product.
Did you also look at different platforms instead of Lisk? Did you look at Ethereum, for example?
Yes, Ethereum is also one of the alternatives. We have you need to take into account the client perspective. The clients, mostly for the agri-food sector, they are related with food trust from IBM, and everything that you are telling them, they are thinking in food trust, because it's they are saying it's a specific platform for food. The reality is that it's a Hyperledger implementation with a food template, and that food template is for only one. And at the same time, it's really difficult to develop for that platform. But they are doing a good work in the commercial aspects. And when we are trying to present an alternative, we are trying to present an alternative. We are not trying to give the client only one alternative. We are telling the client, we can develop the solution. You can choose your blockchain. That's our first approach. And of course, when we say you can choose, the first answer is, okay, I want this to work with IBM. Okay, no problem. I'm going to give you that module. It's free, that module. But I want you to understand that you have alternatives. And in the long term, those alternatives could be better for you. And there we are presenting the client with, at this moment, we are presenting with two alternatives. Lisk is one and Ethereum is the other. But we are thinking in present more alternatives in the next 4 to 6 months. But at the same time, we are this is a small talk that we are having with Fernando and with some clients, that at the same time we are thinking that one of these open blockchain projects they are going to need to develop a specific solution for the different verticals. And when I am saying a specific solution is, you need to have a presentation where you are saying, okay, in this chain you can track food. Here is an example, and you can change your front end, you can change your website, and you can say, okay, this is going to be, I don't know, for example, Lisk food, for example. We are thinking that some projects need to go in that direction, because the generic solutions in the agri-food verticals are not matching in some way.
And can you tell a little bit more about why they are not matching? What do you mean with it?
Yeah, because if you think in the, you need you have a farmer at the other side of the table, and you are explaining to them that, okay, you are going to have a node, or your products are going to be tracked, and you are going to be a part of a supply chain, and you are going to develop the product, and it's an open source. You are giving them all the technical views, and at the same time they have another conversation, which is, this is the blockchain for food. You are going to be part of the biggest blockchain of food, and all the supply chain is on board of this blockchain for food. And at the end of the day, I say, okay, this is a specific and this is generic. Okay, if I go on board with the specific, I'm going to be, it's going to be faster, it's going to be cheaper because they have more tools related with my vertical. This kind of vertical has a specific knowledge and has a specific behavior. I suppose that this applies to every vertical, but in this case, I have some knowledge of the vertical, so I try to think that if you develop exactly the same solution and you put in the last mile, you put specific words related to that vertical, you have a lot of you have more possibilities. You have the conversation is going to be really easier.
Yeah. And maybe it's a good moment to give you the space to talk us through the Fit project.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. You are seeing my screen?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. Okay, these are the topics that we are going to cover. Here, that's us. I am going to start trying to describe which is Woza. Woza is the fully unified platform to drive innovation. And we are trying to solve one specific problem, which is that 70% of the business transformations initiative fail. And we think that is happening because it's a gap between the available technologies and real solutions. You have a lot of technology available. You have, in some cases, you have too much technologies available for the amount of technologies that a company can manage. Trying to convert that technology, that tools, into real solutions is harder than the companies suppose. You have a lot of, at the same time, you have a lot of disruptive technologies. So it's you are developing also a gap there, a gap between the skills required and the skills available to manage this complexity. And also the last thing is that thinking the business transformations or the digitalization of some kind of businesses in the traditional way, where you develop a small solution and you are and after that you test the solution, you develop a prototype and you try to join all the chief from the different sectors of the company to onboard the project, and that kind of traditional incremental approach is not enough. So we are developing a technological platform to simplify and accelerate change. That platform, you can think, I know that you are all technical guys, so you can think that platform like a middleware between a lot of the cloud providers technologies, a lot of open source technologies, and the possibility for a client to develop a real solution. That platform today is integrated in 4 building blocks. That building blocks are data, spatial, cognitive, and blockchain. And crossing these building blocks, we are developing products, and at the same time, we are partnering with other companies for those companies to develop products over our platform. And today we have 4 products developed. Acceleralytics, which is an analytics project. Geo2ID, which is a universal ID for fields all over the world. Rust-A, which is a cognitive module to predict rust in installations, mostly in electrical installations. And Follow It, which is the product that we are going to talk today, because Follow It is our immutability product. And at the same time, we are saying that we are saying that the big companies are, all of us, but in some ways, are having new challenges. Those challenges are related to regional power shift, in this having changes in regulations and economies. You are having a bigger demand for consumer empowerment, having more transparency and privacy, and at the same time, all the consumers or the clients are trying to develop products, projects, or solutions more sustainable or related with sustainable goals. And to do this,
sorry, about the first one, I don't know if you living in a developed country can relate to the first one. I don't know if there are enough examples locally to see that regional power shift, but in our country you can see that every single day and in a negative way. I think that will affect many companies here, and there will be a great challenge for companies here to develop solutions and strategies to bridge that gap.
At the same time, when we are saying, okay, we have an immutability project or product, and it's called Follow It, and Follow It, we are saying it's transparency as a service. It is really a simple product. The client define their assets, the client define their events, and they have a publish API. They can publish. We publish their API. They can use their API to develop solutions, or giving that API to third parties related to them. This is really different from all the solutions there, because the solutions that we see related to blockchain in for big companies, they are always related to sell hours and hours of customization. And we are saying, okay, we don't want to do that. We want you to define your assets, say not only define in our platform, but define in your own database, select which are your important assets, define what kind of events you want to track, or you want to select to be important for you, and you are going to have the API to enter assets or to do transformation to those assets. Its work, Follow It is like a middleware between the customer's databases and a blockchain. Here is, we are saying, okay, a lot of the possible clients of this technology want to do analytics, want to do everyday tasks. When you are saying, okay, you need to move all your things to a blockchain, and you need to develop a specific project for that blockchain, and at the same time, you need to develop an application over that, you are lefting a lot of them behind in development, and they cannot develop that kind of technology. So we are saying, okay, you do your everyday task at the same way that you are doing today, but some things you are going to select some of your assets. Those assets or those processes, we are going to apply what the client calls, okay, this is going to be a blockchain. Yeah, it's going to be a blockchain, but I am not going to track every movement that you are doing. I am only going to track a lot of those movements in one volume. We are going to cover all the things that you need to cover to export goods or to transfer goods to another market, or to say to your stakeholders that you are using blockchains, but we are going to do that in a smart way, and at the same time in a sustainable way. Well, when we developed this product, and we are still developing, one of the clients says, okay, I think that your approach is good. We are using IBM Food Trust, but it's taking a lot of time to implement. We are 1 year and we still don't have the license. So we think that your alternative sounds quite interesting. You are going to give me all the advantages that a blockchain can give me, and at the same time, I don't need to change my way of working. At the same time, your product is compatible with blockchain, and in that case, when we select another blockchain provider, we can move from one to another. Okay, let's start and let's do a proof of concept. This client is called FeedMarket. FeedMarket is an e-commerce project for healthy food. They were in Argentina, but also since last week they are in Switzerland, and in a few weeks they are going to be in other countries in Europe. And they are aiming to offer more transparency to the consumers related to food sustainability and processes. And they are developing an information channel between the farmer or the crop producer or the organic food producer to the supplier to the customer. And they want all of them to have less barriers and better information. I'm going to tell a little about how they are working. They are detecting new and interesting farmers or organic producer or healthy food producers. Then they go there and say, okay, I can sell your products all over the world. Are you interested? Yes, okay. I'm going to review your process. I'm going to take the time to give you tips to improve your processes, to be more healthier or more sustainable. And after that process, I'm going to approve that product. And after that, we approve that product, we are going to add that product to our store. And at the same time, when they are developing this kind of process with the producer, they are developing the same evangelization process with the customer, with the client. They are saying, okay, we are going to have better products. Those products are better than the alternative because they are more sustainable. They are organic. They have less sugar. They are better for your health, and they are working with doctors. They are working with associations, and they are promoting a health way of consume. With this approach, we develop our first prototype. I am going to share the prototype because it's interesting to see. Please, my excuses because this prototype is not in English, but we also add the screenshot in English for better understanding. But here is the application, the mobile application. This is what the customers see in their phone. they can scan a product. Okay, in this case, the product is not available, so they can scan another product, and they scan another product, and okay, this product is available. And you have here, this is a chocolate bar. You have here some information about the bar. It's no sugar. It has, it's vegan. It's free of soybean. Since it has no sugar, is a lot of people with health problems can consume it. Is not some kind of conservatives there. At the same time, the customer can see the origin of the product. In this case, is Brazil, and at the same time, it can see the date where this product was harvested. And at the same time, the customer have information about the time of production, the time of working on the product, and the time of transport to this product. And with this information, is still not available but we are developing a module for give the customer more information about the carbon footprint, because it's important for the customer to know that at the same time that they are taking some product, maybe 10 meters away, they have an alternative, more sustainable, because one product travels 400 kilometers and the other product travels 2 blocks. So we want to give the customer to have information about also the transport. Of course, we have the detailed information about all the processes that this product was, how this product was developed, and from the farmer to the table, all the processes that you have in the middle. And at the same time, we want to give the customer all the details about these details, the places of these details. And of course, we want to add more information about those places, how the farmers live there, how the people live there, if you have culture information or things related to the development of the product, the ideas behind the food that they are going to eat. And this is, of course, was our first small proof of concept. These designs are still not the final designs. They are still working. That's why our proof of concept doesn't appear related with this kind of view. But I think that we are going to improve it, because we are working in a lot of modules to add information. For example, if this crop was planted in a deforestation area, in a crop area, or in a recent deforestation area with all the problems that they can have. And we want also to develop a smarter channel between the producer and the customers. And there we are trying to add videos or photos about the products, but also about the process that all the farmers do every day to have this kind of process, this kind of products. I don't know if you have any questions about this.
I don't have any questions yet.
Okay. Well, here we have, with this in mind, I'm trying to have a better understanding about the Lisk, because as I said before, we were testing some alternatives and we are trying to select one of the open alternatives. We started to do this proof of concepts, trying to apply these concepts to Lisk. We developed a small proof of concept with 7 transactions. We didn't develop all the transactions because in some of the documents that you have published, you have a similar project with supply chain. So we only develop the proof of concept, the transactions that were different from that project. Okay, I'm going to go one of these transactions. First, we have the register market and register producer. These transactions are related to this is when feed markets try to understand which is happening and try to select new producers or to give them alternatives to export or to sell better in a digital way. So the first one is...
Sorry, the important thing here is that we add more information about the distribution centers from feed market and also the producers, especially the location, which we have for the map and other map-related data like deforestation, CO2 footprint, and the like.
Yes, that information is important for us because with that information we are going to develop or to show that in this space in the application. I'm going to open the code here. The hist is, I think it's better to understand. This is really a simple custom extension where we are creating a market, in this case the market account, and we are entering some kind of information important for us, which is the latitude and the longitude of that market or that distribution center. Could be any one of those two alternatives.
In the case of the producer, it's the same. It's just the type is producer. That's the difference. You might be wondering why we don't have all the intermediate steps like the transformation places. And right now, the reality is that all this information will be uploaded by feed market or and some feed producers that have the technical skills and the budget to do this. So it's actually right now, the reality is that it's not a supply chain solution, whole traceability solution, but it's actually trying to put digitally what's already in pen and paper. And after that, and if it has adoption, try to evangelize and widen the net so that every producer and every step in the chain is on board.
Yeah, it's important to understand here that not all the farmers, producers, and small businesses are capable of track information. And here is why the feed market way is different, because feed market is helping them to track information, at least at the beginning. So in that way, they are also encountering some technical difficulties. You can imagine from no internet in at that location to no possibility to do the track because they cross crops from different producers, and they need to change their process to track the specific crop from that producer. So this is going to take more time that the processes outside the technology, outside the application, and outside the technology processes are going to take more time. We maybe sometimes that could be frustrating because you are developing, I don't know, but you are developing a map, and you are saying, okay, this map has meaning if we can track all the process. And you found that 70% of the producers are not able to do that. Okay, well, so we need to develop an alternative. for example, in the last few days, we changed this, where when you see here, you have a route, and we are saying, okay, but I am not going to have a route because, for example, here I'm not able to track. Okay, so in that case, don't put a route, put only a point in the map, and explain that that producer is not able today to do that, but he has a commitment to do that for the in 6 months, for example. So we are not only applying technology or developing a product here, we are helping, in this case, Field Market, and Field Market is helping all the supply chain to have more resources to track information, and to have more resources also to understand why the technology behind this is important. And when they cross that barrier, when they understand, they started to see new possibilities. For example, to export some kind of goods, you need to have traceability in place for not only for export, also at the same time to sell to another state in some cases, because you have different states laws, and some food that you can call organic in some place, you cannot call organic in another place. So when they are seeing that this is difficult for some of them, but at the same time you are offering better alternatives and better channels, and they are going to have more opportunities. Really, the commitment is really high. I'm going to. This is important because related with the things that I was saying before, not all the producers, the food producers, not all the food producers can change their package from one day to another. And that's important because, for example, a lot of producers have packages for 2 years, and they are saying, okay, but if you need to scan a QR code, I need to add to my packages, and it's expensive, or I am not having that in my plans. So what's the alternative? So today we are developing the alternative, and as an alternative we are using the barcode. We know that with the barcode a lot of the information is lost, because in the barcode is not the lot, for example, is not the ERAS date, for example, but at the same time it's a way to do a more general onboarding to the product and to the projects. So our application is today working with two possibilities. You can use your barcode. You are going to have and the customer is going to have less information, but it's a beginning, and in the future you can add the QR code, or at the beginning if you can add a specific code, it's going to be better. And we are developing the mobile application to do all the two alternatives, and at the same time we are trying to develop a QR code, not to put a barrier in the consumer and say, okay, you are not going to be able to scan this if you don't have the application. We want the consumer to use any camera without a specific application if they don't want to download the application. And in those cases, the applications give you a link, and you enter a link, and you are going to see the information. Instead seeing in your mobile app, you are going to see in your web browser. But we want this to be really, really open. At the same time, Field Market it's not charging money from neither the producer or the customer to do this or to give this information. So that's why it's also want this to be more open and more people to be there. Sorry.
It's that for them, this helps them accelerate the process to export the goods. Since they've opened in Switzerland and now they are exporting some goods from Argentina there. And I hope it happens for the other way around too. So it's part of the process that they have to do, and they see it also as a way to help the consumers get more information.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's also their vision and their mission to do a healthier products. At the same time, when they are exporting, is I think that's the last resource, because they are developing which they call the 0 kilometers goods, which is give the customer alternatives to buy locally and not to have a bigger footprint of carbon footprint. And in this case, we are entering an asset. This asset, which we call product, has a barcode, a badge, a name, the quantity, the remaining quantity, the produce date, the due date, and of course, which type of asset this is. Well, this is in this apply the same thing than before.
Supply chain example, just that in here at least usually you don't ship just a package or just a product, you ship a whole pallet. So that's the difference, and that's why it's in the product you have a quantity, and here you say how much of the produced goods you send in just a pallet.
Yes, we have a relation here between the senders and the receivers in that case, and you are deducting the amount of the quantity of products from one of them, and after we are going to add to the receiver. In this case, this is not related with the real application of the real process that you have in the field, but we think that this approach is simpler to do a proof of concept. At the same time, we are trying to replicate which is happening in the field, which is really a mess, because you have pallets, cross pallets, you have cross products, you have a lot of things there that are going to be harder to track. At the same, not only in a technological view, but also it's going harder to track in a practical way. Here at the last this transaction, the final is to update the account of the pallets.
Yeah, the status as pending for transport.
Yes. Well, here we have the transaction, which is when we saw before all the steps are also crossing. A lot of the steps are related with transport from one place to another in different processes, but maybe you are doing some kind of, for example, you are baking, and then after baking you are going to transport those products to another producer, which is going to do the next step, and these kind of things. This is when the transport supply chains apply. At the same time, we are doing this in a simple transaction, in a simple manner. Of course, all the code and of course we are open later to discuss a specific question if you have. In this case,
blog post, and well, it might be hard to read from the screen right now.
Okay. I'm really not good explaining the script, but in this case, you are having the pallet, and you are trying to move the pallet from one point to another, and to do that, you are adding that to an account, and after that, we are setting that pallet is in a specific status, which in this case is ongoing. It's going to be complete in the next transactions. And in this case, continuing with
the reception of the pallet and check if it arrived well or not. If it did, the carrier already had some amount of money as a security locked, and also the pallet had the amount of money necessary to pay the carrier. Otherwise, that locked amount is deducted, and you have to ship it back to the producer.
Yeah, of course. Here we apply. Also, we do a simplification of okay, the transport could be okay or not. If it's okay, we are going to if Woza a success, we are going to do all the math to sum the pallets in the new location, and at the same time you are going to have a postage balance. And if you have a problem there, we are going to try to capture that problem, and of course at the same time, okay, we are set a status to fail. At the same time, there it's important to know that in the reality, it's not so clear the success or not. The success is clear, but the fail, you can have a lot of fail status. Not only one. Also, it could be partial. It could have you have problem. For example, if you need to transport the products at a specific temperature and you are not controlling that, you are going a lot of possibilities, a lot of outcomes. In this case we are trying to simplify, but in the real product we are adding a lot of possible outcome for this specific step. Well, here we have some of the things.
I think that this is the most important transaction right now, because it represents the value of feed market in the whole chain. As you can see, the four ticks down the product description in the last image were about if the product has soy, if it was organic, vegan, and there are many categories for dietary restrictions. And so some products do have this. Feed market sends some products to independent laboratories to have a third-party certificate that what the product says is real, and if it doesn't, they add it. So that's a great plus for consumers too.
Yeah, we are trying to apply a gamification concept here. All the things, for example, organic, no tag, trans fat, daily units, and we are these kind of tags that we are using, and we are adding this information to the product, is which you can see here. Here we have some batches. It's still a demo, but we are going to have some more, and these kind of attributes that the product has is taken from this transaction. So this is really today's the most important transaction, because it's where feed market is adding value to the supply chain, and some of these things they are controlling, or they are helping the farmer or the producer to acquire this status. Of course, this is the last one, our last slide. Which are the next step for us? We are delivering the the feed market project in the next few weeks. We are adding sustainability info like weather and carbon footprint. And in the next release, we are adding deforestation information. We are adapting the project for Feed Market Switzerland, so we are doing some work in progress with the translation, and at the same time, the processes in Switzerland are different. They have more customer awareness. The producers are really good prepared. They have better information. They have better logistics. So the application is going to suffer less modifications, but at the same time, some processes that we develop to help the customer or to help the producers are not going to be necessary there. We are improving Follow It, which is our product. We, in some way, we are abandoned to dedicate to this project, this specific client project, which is really nice, and it's getting bigger every day. And we are Polish Follow It, and we are going to integrate with a specific blockchain. And we are trying to evangelize some of our clients about why Lisk could be a better alternative to the food traceability change that they are using today. And of course, if we have some success here, we can develop more we can develop more modules for our product to be compatible with Lisk, or at the same time, maybe, I don't know, but maybe we can develop a specific Lisk implementation only for food. We are talking in a lot of crazy talks. That's the last one.
Thank you so much for your presentation and explanation. It's really, I really like that you take it from both sides. That with Woza Labs you are actually trying to create a next generation industrial system, you have a real large innovation perspective, but on the other hand you are actually trying to make it work for the farmer and for everybody involved, and you are willing to adjust the whole product specifically to make everybody to make it work for everybody. Pretty cool.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's agri-food industry vertical is really interesting. I think it's a green field. You can do a lot of improvements there, and that's sometimes it's really nice when you develop a more sophisticated solution or a more complicated solution, but at the same time, it's good when you add some simple or small thing that you say, okay, this is simple, but that's adding a lot of value, and that's also really interesting.
Yeah, I've got one question from Corbyfax.
Yeah,
I see. Would it be possible to combine the barcode and expiration date as an alternative for better tracking before the adoption of the QR code?
Yes, but it could be it's an interesting approach. The thing that we encounter is that if the producer is not able to include a QR code, maybe it's because it's not the last step of the product, and the due date is going to be put in after in the process. So it's possible. We didn't think as an alternative, but also it's important to know that we are working here in the first proof of concept was for Argentina, and in Argentina we have a lot of producers, but they have a lot of logistic problems. In another markets, I think it's really possible.
Thanks. And I don't see any other questions yet. I'd like to. We all already talked a little bit about open source and communities before the meetup started. Could you tell us a little bit more about your journey with open source and also how Lisk fits in? Because I really like the way that you actually are working so much with open source software.
Yeah, we work a lot with open source. We develop also a lot of open source solutions from our fields of interest, and I was in some way when you enter to open source projects and you are going to give this as a business solutions for companies, not only for startups but also for big companies. You know that from the other side of the table you are going to have difficult conversations because you are proposing an open source and they are expecting a private business with support, with a lot of things that they assume that are better outside the open source world. I think that today the things are changing, but it's not an easy conversation. So when you are trying to convince businesses to adopt open source, it's good to know, or it's good to show them that you are active, that you have development, that you have, for example, we are talking now with one potential client, and we started to mention that we want to transfer all our small, at this point small, but we are going to have more expertise in Lisk, I suppose, and we want to transfer that to you. And no, but open source, no, because they are no locations, they are all small programmers working in their homes. And we share with them the news that you have a center, and it was, oh, okay, but this is an enterprise, this is not open source. No, you are not thinking correctly, and you need to evangelize there to having this big community that you have in different languages with good support, not only in the website but also through forums or through in this case through Discord. At the same time that you have, I think that you have a real nice media work there. And these kind of things do the conversations more simple for us. And I think that we are going to put a big client using Lisk in a few weeks. And I cannot tell today which is the client, but we are going to have news. And that thing changed, the conversation changed when we show them that you have a center. Okay, but they are located. Yeah, they are located. Okay.
Oh, cool. That's so. Yeah, that's cool to hear. And because also what you told before is now different question. Sorry.
Yes.
So if you start to look in different open source communities, what are you looking for? What do you want to see, and what would you not want to see?
Yeah, first we try to see if the idea is applying to a commercial product. We are trying to separate our two aspects in our lives. In one aspect, we are technicians trying to learn and to touch everything, and we want our code in our notepad. But after that, we are businessmen who wants to develop real solutions and to charge for that solutions. And so when we are thinking in an open source, we are thinking that, okay, this is we can apply this to a commercial solution. Yeah, okay. Why? Because it has good documentation. The documentation synchro with the version that you are using. You are not going to have are not going to struggle against the technology itself. You are going to struggle to develop a solution, but not with the technology, and not with the process. And that's important because we want to play the game, not to change the rules. So that's important. We at the same time, we appreciate a lot of open source projects which are really nice. They have really interesting ideas, but at the same time, I think that they are not thinking their projects to develop solutions. They are thinking their projects like an intellectual exercise, and it's not bad. We have that facet too, but it's not the same. And in this case, you have good communication. You have an interesting community. You have a roadmap. It's. I know that this sounds silly, but you see a lot of projects and also important projects. But when you say, okay, which is your roadmap? Because I'm going to apply this to a solution. That solution I'm going to sell to a business, and that business has a CTO or a CEO or has a engineering chief, which is asking me which is the roadmap development of the technology, of the main technologies that you are using here, because they want to know if it's going to be synchronized with their development, and also they want to know if you have the skills to develop and to think in a roadmap. So those kind of things are important for us. And you don't imagine the amount of open source projects or small Git projects that we test and we think, okay, this is really nice. This has a lot of ideas. Okay, but we cannot apply it. We can wait. We can help them. We can improve it, but we cannot apply it. It's not the time. And there are a lot of possibilities there.
Yeah, thanks.
Not applied, at least commercially.
Yes.
So last thing, if people see this and would like to reach out to you, what would you like? Do you need some information, some knowledge? Would you like to get in touch with other people?
Yeah, of course. We are open to. We are developing a solution which we thought it was agnostic, because Follow It was developed to try to be agnostic, but at the same time we are entering really hard in the agri-food vertical. We know that vertical, but at the same time we have questions about applying this to other verticals. So for collective, for example, or for art, we are having some questions there. And of course, we are open to share our experience, to share our proof of concept, to share information about what we are doing, to have questions. Yeah, that's interesting. We're in the Woza was founded 2 months ago. So we are in the second month. We are developing a team. We are forming our first team. And at the same time, we are happy to have a nice conversation. So yeah, we are really open.
Then I would like to thank you for the presentation, for being so open, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from you in a couple of months with new ideas, new projects, and new challenges. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank to you, and thank to all the people in the conversation.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.